7 years ago, back on January 2020, I was here in the same exact area to do a video called Searching for the Hidden Abandoned Ruins. In that video, we found a few interesting things. Since that time, I've actually returned, did some more searching, and found even more stuff to share with you guys. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. But I'm also not alone. I do have a very special guest, someone who's not been seen on my channel since 2019, Mr. mattMPG. He is in town for a few days to do some exploring, and I invited him to join me on today's adventure. So if you want to see what we find, all you have to do is just come along with me. So as we're walking, as I may mention in a previous video, this is the old section of a branch of the Laurel Line trolley system. There are still remnants of it here. We're going to be kind of bordering it for a good section of time. Now, the one thing I can tell you about today's adventure and exploration is that we're going to be focusing on a specific area. In my first video, which will be linked down below in the description, there was a pipe I found going across the water. Well, next to that pipe, there's a big concrete pad actually in the water, in the river. At the time, I didn't know what that was. But upon further investigating and help from a local viewer, I do now know what that is, and we'll share it with you. Aside from that, there are some really unique looking supports for something which hopefully we can figure out, and also something relatively more modern that doesn't really make sense as to why it's just right in that location from when I did find it. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today, checking out, and of course, we're going to keep our eyes peeled. We may find even more stuff, but we do have some ground to cover before we get there. So right now, let's roll a little video montage, and then we'll get exploring. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that little video montage. We did cover some ground. Now we're going to be coming upon the first item that I've located in my first video. I'm going to give you guys just a quick glimpse at it. It'll be Matt's first time seeing it. So make sure you check out his video, which will be linked down below in the description, to see his perspective on today's adventure. So after we make our way through the candy cane forest, we do come upon the 1800s pump house. And there she is. Looks completely different from January, I can tell you that. Mother Nature really filled it in nicely with the growth.
What is this, Jay? A pump house? Full abandoned pump house, 1893.
So last time I was here, I did find these large stones and boulders that look like they're deliberately placed here, and I didn't know what they were for at the time. It was questionable if it was man-made or natural. Well, it turns out there's actually a pipe under here. These were placed here so that nothing ruptures it open or causes any disturbances to it, because the pipe does go underground right here into the pump house. So that, like we say, it's another piece of the puzzle that we're learning. Each time we revisit these locations, we learn more and more. Well, just to show, I am wearing the appropriate t-shirt today, because right here they have some of the gorgeous nature's carpet. This is probably Persian rug quality. This is some nice stuff.
Nice and soft.
So just to give you some perspective as to where we are, up there is the rails we're walking along. Came down here, I found a trail that I didn't know really existed until we just stumbled upon it today. And this is going to lead us to, I believe, to, yeah, right here, our first item, which I found on a later date. And the last time I was here, this actually was open. The door was open, you could actually go inside of it. It's something to do with water piping, water valves. Not entirely sure. I'm gonna see if we can get it open to get a peek inside, but it is just here in the middle of the woods, which was kind of odd when I found it. Okay, so we got the door open, it's not locked, and to show you inside, it's not good. That's water spraying up. It's like a busted valve or busted pipe. That's like a little subfloor basement here made out of cinder blocks and concrete, and that pipe's running, I think, like 24/7. There's actually a bench seat in there too, from a van or a car or a pickup truck. If you guys have any information as to what this exactly is or what it could be used for, please let me know in the comment section. So we did do the responsible thing, closed it back up and left it the way we found it.
Another, this looks like a flange over here of some kind.
Yeah, it's like there would have been a toilet there.
Yeah. John J. Crapper was here.
So that was the first item I wanted to share with you. Like I said, it's more modern. Nothing really historical, but just kind of stood out to me because it's in the middle of the woods. But straight ahead is the pipe going across the water. And the next item we're going to be locating is those support things I mentioned, which do look a bit odd compared to the ones I've seen in the past. So maybe with your help, we'll figure out what it is. Okay, so we're crossing some pretty tall weeds and brush here. And we're here at the next location. You can see a man-made wall. This is the first signs that we're in the right area. But the wall is not what we're going to be focusing on. It's going to be what's just next to it up ahead here. You can actually see what looks like almost like giant steps. These big, massive stone supports. And I have a couple theories, which I'll share with you in a moment, but want to give you some visuals. There's numerous ones here, and it resembles steps or like a massive kiln. But whatever they are pretty gargantuan. So I have a couple of theories as to what these could be for, and this is just purely speculation. I don't have any solid evidence or proof. But as you can see how they're kind of pressed against the wall, these may be here for support, just to keep the wall from toppling down, but they're only in a small grouping here. The other theory I have is that it was at some point may have been a factory, building, structure, industry, something up on top of here. And this had something to do with maybe supports for the building itself or other uses. Maybe I'm just completely off altogether, but that is what comes to mind by looking at it. But as you see the rest of them as we explore across this area, pay close attention. If you guys have any knowledge at all, even if it's just a guess, I want to hear from you guys. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to position you guys right where you're sitting. I'm going to walk up to these giant supports or steps and give you a size perspective as to how big they are. I know it's hard to see from this vantage point, but these actually do go up in tiers. And the tallest one is probably about 10 feet high, so And these stones themselves weigh, I'd imagine, at least 100 pounds each. This took a lot of labor and hard work to put these in place. Definitely walking through some cobwebs. So straight ahead of Matt is the old supports, which we thought was for a type of bridge or trestle. It's actually for a pipe, because the pipe's actually in the wall right to Matt's left here. So those pipes went straight across on those support beams to the other side. And now it's part of the Pennywise layer. It gets around.
Yeah. They did say there was quite a few QT sightings along here.
Okay, so the very next item, which I'm excited to share with you guys, is straight ahead. Last time we were here, most of this was underwater. The water level is considerably lower. Now, looking at it at first glance, you really don't know what it is. It looks like a building foundation. I'm not going to tell you just yet what it is. I'm going to give you some closer looks around it, and then I'll reveal what it is. But if you guys happen to know ahead of time, feel free to share your thoughts, but it's going to be pretty remarkable once you find out what that actually is. So as you just saw, I just got done checking it out, showed Matt what it is. Now it's time for you guys to check it out as well. Have you figured out what it is yet? If not, you're gonna find out in just about 2 moments. Now, last time I was here in January, this was flowing water. I had no way to get to it, and that itself is even underwater. But now it's completely dry and accessible. So as I go around to the front side of it here, it may give away its first clue as to what this is. All right, you guys figured it out yet? If you can believe it, this is the framing of a box car, a railroad car. The dead giveaway is the lettering on it, the weight capacity, the load weight, the markings on it. This is indeed a railroad freight car, specifically a box car. They used just the frame of it, poured concrete in it, but it doesn't explain what it was used for. I was talking to Matt, it may have been something with like a type of mill race, may have been a building here, but it's right in the water's path here, so it does take in water or get submerged in water after heavy rains. But it is pretty cool to know though that they did repurpose a rail car for some type of use. And again, it's close proximity to these pillars, which did support the pipes. The pipes are on both ends of it, they are cut off, similar to what we see over there for that pipe. We'll check out that next. That is what I found in the first adventure here. But it is cool nonetheless to know that this is a railroad box car. So thanks to the viewer that did share the information with me. And upon coming back and investigating it myself, I was able to confirm that. Here's just a little shot of the water here. It's nice and clear. I did see some little guppies and fish and other things in the water, but it still looks pretty clear and inviting. I never seen it this low before. And as deceiving as it looks, like I said, underneath the pipe there, it's considerably deeper. Nice reflection in the water there too. If you can tell by my sweaty head here, the temperatures are picking up. We're working up a good sweat. This water is looking very inviting. It's actually really low, really clear. I'm half tempted to take off the socks and shoes to get in there and get wet and cool off, but I don't know, we'll see about that. But I do want to show you up closer to the pipe there, because it's a pretty deep swimming hole there, and just the construction of the pipe itself looks pretty awesome, so we'll check that out next. Not sure if you guys could pick it up on camera. There's actually some little fish right in front of us here in the water. Almost like little minnows. And well, we could see the water drops off considerably deeper here, and there's some bigger fish down there too. Unfortunately, I don't have my underwater camera with me. It is being serviced by DJI, so I can't stick you underwater, but if there is interest, I could definitely return here, do some snorkeling, swimming, or just get you some underwater footage in the future. Yeah, they're actually like 3 feet away from me.
Yeah.
They must think I have food. Should throw a piece of crumb in there, see if they go for it. They're thinking about it. Oh yeah. They like granola bars.
Might have been too big for him.
Look, they're all swarming around it though. So we're gonna go up there now. I'm gonna take a little break, get some water, give you some views and vantage points from the top side of that pipe, and just take a few moments to relax, and then we're gonna continue on. All right, so Matt's gonna be the daring one, and
Well, I figure RJ's not here, so.
yeah, someone's gotta fill the shoes. He's gonna walk that narrow ledge. It's gonna be okay till he gets to right about here. We'll see what happens. He's nearly there. And who says men with a dad bod can't be adventurous?
I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight.
So what I'm attempting to show you is not coming up really that well on camera, but the water is fairly deep here. I'd say it's around 8 to 10 feet deep here. I'm even having trouble seeing the bottom, despite how low the levels are currently and how clear it is. You still see some stones and stuff under the water, but this is definitely a good swimming hole. I am really tempted to jump in here. I may just do that. We'll see. Here's looking upstream, looking, I guess you would consider that northeast. Again, levels are so much lower from January. And here you could see it's a fairly decent jump here. And it's deep enough to jump into. And water is still dripping out of that pipe. Water does still flow through there. When I was here last time, water was continuously falling out at a steady stream, but it is still a unique area though. I'm probably going to snap a photo or two here. After that, I'm either going to be jumping in the water or we're going to continue our trek north. So one way or another, I'll see you in just a moment. All right, so I did chicken out. I didn't go in the water, mainly because I didn't want to walk around the rest of the day with wet shoes. But if you do want to see me return to this spot one more time, do some underwater snorkeling, get some footage underwater, just have a good time swimming here, comment down below. I'd be happy to return and do it for you guys. But we are going to leave this area now. We kind of did rest and recuperate, get some water, get some shots, and we're going to make our way north because we're going to take Matt to show him the reservoir up there that he has yet to see, I don't believe. And then ultimately we're going to reach the abandoned train trestle, which is what he wants to visit today. So even though we've seen those before, I will give you some quick glimpses at them. And once we do reach those locations, I will wrap up the video from there. So a little bit more of the video to go. So don't go anywhere yet. Woohoo! So as you can probably hear, we have reached our next location. As I mentioned, I did film this in the past. This is the Dunmore number 7 reservoir. A very large and impressive one. And we get a nice little vantage point, which I'll show in a moment here, but it's not flowing quite as extensively, I guess you could say, as it was in the past. They haven't had any significant rainfall for weeks now, except for like a downpour here or there, a quick pop-up thunderstorm. So it's not flowing like it normally does, but still enough to check it out and to hear that flowing water. So let's get you a closer look at it right now. Matt's already out here checking it out. I just saw a fish jump in the distance. And now you can actually see the structure itself. It's almost like the step falls, where it's just kind of concrete steps that cascade down. Those are typically covered in white water from the flow, and they're not really visible, but now you can really see the construction of the spillway here. As I mentioned in the past, it's not accessible, but I would love to get inside those structures. Those are pretty gargantuan and almost like medieval looking, and each time I come there's always more and more graffiti, which is unfortunate, but it is a beautiful body of water here. Snap a photo or two.
This is like a lot of our the dams down the Susquehanna River. That's like there's barely any water cut, like Holtwood.
Yeah.
There's nothing coming over.
I've never seen it this low. It's always white water going over it.
Yeah.
Now you can get over there. That's the area where me and Mike first searched for the abandoned rail car.
Okay.
There's a rail line up there, but you can't get inside the buildings, so unfortunately.
Like, crossing the trestle this way, if we were to backtrack, it would take us this
right
way.
There, yep.
Nice.
Yeah, the rails are right up there.
Cool.
And then eventually lead into the DeNaples junkyard, which is right around the bend.
Yep.
You can see that from 81. Definitely not too shabby of a shot. Okay guys, we're at our next and final location of today. Do you know where we are? No, we're not in the clouds, but we are pretty high up. We are right here on the abandoned train trestle. The same bridge that I faced my fears on in 2019 that nearly caused me to be paralyzed in the middle of it. But I overcame my fears, was able to cross it, and now, having crossed it nearly a dozen times, I'm actually quite comfortable on it. But Matt flew his drone here today. You definitely want to check out his footage, so head over to his channel, mattMPG, to see what it looks like from a bird's eye view with his new drone. I have flown my drone here before, but didn't bring it today. But just wanted to give you a quick view as to what I am seeing today. It's in full bloom. Everything's really lush and green. And I will put on the screen the stats of this bridge as far as the date built, the height, and the length. But it is quite a location. Love coming back here. And I did do a live stream here too, which if you want to go over to my random live streams playlist, while I was back there in the far end streaming, I heard the rumble of a train engine, and I thought for a second maybe it was a truck coming, and the sound kept coming steadier and louder. Sure enough, the Delaware-Lackawanna freight train came rolling through here, and I came almost sprinting across this, which was very foolish to do. I came jogging and I caught the tail end of it coming underneath the trestle here. So it was cool to see that. It was really, random that it came at that time, and it was just at the wrong end of the trestle, but was still able to share it during the live stream. So if you want to check that out, you're welcome to. So I'm gonna make my way back, trying to look down at the ties so I know I step on the right ones, because there are a couple of rotted ones. Matt is back there, but this is such an incredible place. One of the few places in Pennsylvania that there is a truly abandoned train trestle here that's not posted, it's not gated, and still intact enough to cross it. And it's a good size one at that. So very fortunate to live close by. Matt had to drive a few hours to come up here, but for him, it's worth the trip because he's been here before, and now he's able to fly his very own drone to see it from the sky. So far, it's been a pretty good day, aside from being hot and sweaty. That's to be expected here in the summers of Northeast Pennsylvania. Just don't drop anything. You may not get it back. Yeah, like you're saying, you don't want to walk there. Those are kind of sketchy. Well, guys, being here at our final location, that's going to bring us to the end of the video. I do want to thank you first off for joining us on today's adventure. It's been a lot of fun searching, locating, and discovering more hidden abandoned ruins, unique, interesting, strange, rather abnormal items. And I hear some music in the background. Somebody's driving by in a side-by-side blasting some music. But anyways, this is always a fantastic location to come to, whether we stop at the pump house there, the pipe crossing the river, or here at the abandoned trestle. All in all, it's a fantastic location, one that I'm thrilled to share with you guys time and time again. Don't forget, my first video of my solo adventure 7 months ago in January will be down in the description, as well as a link to Matt's channel, and of course my Facebook page if you want to follow me there. It's a completely free and public page. I do share photos, details, and some videos that don't always make it to my YouTube channel. If you have any information you'd like to share based on what you've seen in today's video, the comment section is for you guys. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And as always, almost. Do want to thank Matt as well for joining me today. So, see you guys in the next video.